Hi, everybody. Ed Bixby here with my co-host Gretchen Spletzer. We're from the Global Green Burial Alliance. Today's special edition of Spotlight Now has Jim Manos of Romancing the Wind. Gretchen, if you'd like to give Jim's bio.
Yep. Hi, everybody. So we have Jim here with us today. Jim Manos is the owner and operator of Romancing the Wind. His business is located in San Diego, California. Romancing the Wind offers boat charter options for a variety of special events and parties. They also offer funeral services, including scattering and a green burial option of a full body at sea burial, which we're going to talk to him more about today. So hi, Jim.
Good afternoon to you both.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Very nice to have you as our Spotlight Now guest. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Romancing the Wind, and what this service means to you and your customers, because this is probably a new topic for a lot of the people who are watching this today. Full body burial at sea.
Absolutely. About myself a little bit. I'm a airline captain from a major American Airlines operation. I've been in the boat business now since 2015. I've actually been on my vessel 2015 as a captain, and I purchased 2019 from the previous owner. And we offer charter service of various capacities, like Gretchen mentioned. We do bachelor parties, bachelorettes, but in this particular conversation, we do offer funeral service at services, and both ash scatterings and full body green burials at sea. We've done quite a few. We're probably the most experienced funeral service provider for at sea services here in San Diego for sure. We've done thousands of ash scatterings, and we've done quite a few full body burials at sea.
Oh, so and you work with a funeral home there, so they call you up and say, we have a client who's interested in having this, and
Well, as up to date, yes, they've contacted this particular funeral home that we've been working with, and said, hey, we're interested in this. If they're here in the Southern California area, they want to use the sand, they're using mine, and they'll process the whole process. I should explain it from start to finish. They'll recover the body wherever the body is, and they'll prepare the body and hold that body until the funeral date, and then they bring it to us before the family boards, and we place the bow of my vessel in a particular spot, and then we board the family members and we depart, and we have to be out at sea. Particular mileage and depth primarily is the depth, and that's where we offer the body to the sea.
Is it also 3 miles out? You have to be 3 miles out offshore?
Scatterings. This is more of a depth requirement that EPA has put out, 100 fathoms or 600 feet. That is our minimum that we use. We typically reach a point offshore San Diego that the canyon comes up to a depth of 500 feet is where the top of the canyon is, but we get out to the 600 beyond, and that's where we do our service and offer the decedent.
So let me ask you, Jim, what brought you? Was it the funeral director that had reached out to you, or when you got into this, what drew you to this option?
Well, it was initially us being contacted as a platform operation, just to take the family and the body out to sea. What evolved out of that was the service that we provided to that particular funeral director, and his company was just something he just really liked. So he was using us exclusively. And then since we offer that service on our website, we've now been contacted by other funeral homes inquiring about our service, and we also get direct inquiries as well. We've had quite a few people call us direct, and they want to see the vessel, talk to us. And I've actually had the actual person planning their own funeral visit with me. Sometimes, well, I've had to have a couple times, but one in particular was almost a year or two in advance. They knew a situation that might require that, and it certainly hadn't happened. And the next time I actually saw that person was on the vessel, and It's really rewarding in doing that because you work with the families. It's like planning any other funeral. And it's got to be done or should be done well in advance. And we can do it all well in advance. We've had other call us recently doing just exactly that. We're in the process right now of getting a lady who's unfortunately going to be entering hospice care shortly, and she's provided and planned her own funeral, and we're in contact with her right now.
Right. So I imagine you probably would work if you haven't already with death doulas or home funeral guides as well if they contacted you with a client.
They have. We haven't worked with them directly, but we've been contacted before. Yeah.
That's good.
So what's wonderful about this, Jim, and it sounds like you caught the bug, anyone who's interested in natural burial or burial at sea or any type of memorial that the family can really make a celebration, is that you are helping people. And it really shows that you have embraced the fact that you're doing something more. You're providing a service, but you're creating a memory and you're honoring a wish. So I commend you for that.
You're exactly right, and it's quite rewarding, and I don't know how to say it any better than that. Thing that you just, once you've done the service and you get back, and that you can just see the families, they're the lights in their eyes afterwards. Sometimes it's a somber event, but to be honest, mostly it's somber, but it's also a very positive event because it is natural, and a lot of people embrace that return to nature, and certainly a full body burial at sea or ash scattering does exactly that, as opposed to a terra-based burial, which can be quite expensive as well. We offer very economical service, very affordable, and natural friendly, eco-friendly, and it's rewarding all the way around.
Absolutely.
When I was imagining doing this interview today, I was imagining being out on a boat and just being so immersed in wild marine nature. Like, it probably feels ancestral at times, like, because it's another option that has also been used for hundreds and hundreds of years. Maritime people probably did a lot of burials that way.
People have viewed it in the past as being some sort of a maritime or naval type tradition, which it is, of course, but it's becoming more mainstream and more accepted, more and more by people. Even specific faiths are starting to open up to it. But along the lines of nature, what you're talking about there, we've seen some extraordinary things and had extraordinary things happen. For instance, one of our decedents I've been told that he loved to swim with the sharks, and that was one of his passions. And he was a diver at sea. And when we got out to on site where we were going, and just before the service started, a big great white went cruising by, and not that is absolute. It was like the whole family just was elated because it was his passion. And then we went through the service and presented him, and there wasn't an issue with the shark or anything. It was just one of those surreal moments when they were talking about his passion as being a diver and swimming with sharks. And here we see one in the actual service. It was just extraordinary.
It's beautiful.
Well,
I've had things like that happen too. At a green burial, there, just a small one with three other family members and the deceased person. And when we were, just before we lowered her down, the cemetery's residential hawk just swooped down right over the whole scene. It was amazing. Yeah.
And we've seen dolphins and whales while we were out doing burials at sea, both ash scatterings and full bodies. And we had to see a little bit larger, a little further offshore with the green full body green burials. But it's always exciting, and it just kind of reinforces that you're getting back to nature, and nature is accepting and bringing that person back into the fold of life, is how I look at it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the one unique thing about where you're located, Jim, is that, here on the East Coast where I'm presently, the problem is we don't encounter really deep water unless it's very far out. So here in the state of New Jersey, you'd have to go 80 miles to get to 600 foot of water. But the beautiful thing about the California coastline is you can enjoy this. You can lay your loved one to rest within sight of the favorite beach or cove or wherever they may have, resided. So I think it's wonderful.
It is, and what we try to do with families is to find a location that, for instance, if they're just doing an ash scattering where our requirements aren't as dramatic as being as far offshore, we can triangulate exactly where we want to be, so they can use a point like the Cabrillo lighthouse, and another time, let's say that's where we look for a family member to rest right at that particular spot, and we try to provide that pinpoint accuracy for them with our GPS location on the vessel, and then we give them a map that shows exactly where we were, and they can come back and kind of revisit. And even with the green body burials or even ash scatterings, the nice thing about being offered to the ocean and back in nature like that is now the burial site becomes everywhere. Their family member is with them when they're at the beach or maybe out on their boat or something. They kind of always have that connection to that family member right there, as opposed to a terra-based location. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what we offer is a lot different, and where you have to go to a terra-base, go to that location, or you have that sense that that's where you have to be. And if our guests, if you will, tell us that it's so nice to be able to find that peace and tranquility being near the ocean, and they're once again with their loved one, and that's really rewarding for me.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Especially if you're I was gonna say, especially if you're a surfer or somebody who's out in the water a lot, you would probably definitely feel like you're connecting in a way while you're sitting out there on your board.
Exactly. If you're in that situation, I'm certain, then I participate, paddle out and get in the ocean and do services in that way. And it's not necessarily a burial, but they do a memorial service that way. And it's just a really natural and eco-friendly way of addressing that concern that we're all going to have to face at some point in time in life.
So let me ask you this, Jim, because I'm sure some of our listeners are probably wondering. So if they were to have a service like this, what exactly would they be presented in? So the customer has an understanding, as far as we understand it's a shroud, but could you elaborate a little bit as to the presentation, the day of?
Sure. I can start to finish. It starts with the recovery of the body wherever that person happened to have passed away is part of the service that we provide along with our partners. And where they recover the body and prepare the body by putting it in a shroud. If there's particular clothing that the family wants the decedent in, then that gets done at that point, and they get put in that article of clothing, whatever it happens to be. Then the person is placed in a shroud, and it's a biodegradable shroud. It's essentially a large sack, if you will, that has a zippered front. It's all biodegradable. It's a canvas material, and it's got grommets at the top and grommets at the bottom to let some air out. And there's a compartment at the bottom at the feet that we use for adding weight, because we do have to weight the body. So it does go all the way to the bottom and stays there. So at the day of the funeral, the funeral director will bring the body to the boat about an hour before the passengers arrive, and we place it on a special built a tray that we use to tilt the body into the water with. And all the flowers are placed along there. And then if the family has a flag or some other material that they want to place or anything they want to do around the body, we certainly make that happen for them. Then once they board, we get everybody on board and do our briefing, off we go. And it takes us approximately 45 minutes to an hour, just depending on some of the conditions. Most of these are done in the morning, so the water's a little calmer. We prefer to do it that way, but certainly we've done some in the afternoons. We just want to make sure that the weather's fine, and it always has been. We get out to the site, and whatever service that the family wants to have, we've had ministers on board, we've had rabbis on board providing things for that particular family. Was quite unique. And if you want to see what it looks like, you can certainly go to our website at sailingrtw.com, and you can actually see that particular family wanted video, drone footage, and video footage of the service, and they graciously allowed us to put that on the website to show exactly what happens. And once the service is complete with whatever they want to say about them and what have you, then we present the body to the ocean by sliding them over the rail, and the body gets on the bottom within about 25 seconds, and depending on the depth, 25 to 30 seconds. And we do a 3 circles around the site, and we chime our ship spell twice each time we make a revolution. And that's to, it's a Navy tradition, but not Navy, but a maritime tradition. But it's also Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, a recognition of the spiritual family, if you will. And that's something we do on our own and provide. And then we make our way back in. And sometimes we motor all the way back and family. The unique thing about what we offer is we are very eco-friendly. Our vessel doesn't burn very much fuel when we go out just via motor only. It's a very efficient operation. It's a sailboat, 6 feet long and 15 feet wide. Or if we sail, and that's obviously very even more eco-friendly. But it's a very unique and warm and rewarding ceremony.
It sounds
Wow.
wonderful.
It
It's
really-
almost like making me rethink my shrouded green burial. Sounds beautiful.
Love to have you aboard, but let's wait a few years, okay?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Well, Jim, I mean, we here at the Global Green Burial Alliance really appreciate what you do, not only for the environment, but for the families themselves and for the industry. It's a great, wonderful option to offer. You know, we encourage everyone watching this to reach out to Jim and if they have any questions and if they have interest in it. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I really appreciate you being here today. And I'm sure, Gretchen, you have some wonderful things to say as well.
Yeah. I was really eager to meet him. I know it's in Cyberland, but I was talked to Jim on the phone a couple times, so I was excited about this. And on that website, which is sailingrtw.com, there's a video of what a at-sea burial looks like. It is gorgeous. I encourage everybody to check it out and really think about this as an option, because it's an option, especially if you live on the coast.
It's
So,
certainly.
yeah.
I appreciate you guys as well. I'm very happy to have become a part of the alliance, and I appreciate you guys reaching out to me because I along with yourselves, am concerned about the environment, and I think it's a very unique, respectful, eco-friendly, and natural way of laying a loved one to rest.
Yeah, it truly
Absolutely.
is. Beautiful way to do it. Oh, this is so great. I'm so glad. Well, okay, well, we'll wrap this up. And thank you to James Manos, and Ed, my co-host.
Thank you.
And go check out sailingrtw.com, guys.